Hey guys, welcome back to Treasure Circle, where I am so random you never know what I'm about to do next. Right now I'm going to share some things that helped me struggling with temptation and the strong urges and temptations to give in back to your past and all that. But first I want to start with I don't know who posted it, but somebody posted it. The devil reminds you of your past when he's afraid of your future. And I was like, man, that's good. That's good. The devil's going to remind you of your past, try to get you to go back into your past because he's afraid of what you're going to be when you get past all this crap. Find out, there it is. Find out what your source of temptation is. So what's tempting you and where are your temptations coming from? What are you doing that, oh shoot, I'm tempted now. Where were you doing or where were you at when you were tempted? So acknowledge the places where temptations are coming. And second of all, eliminate it. For me, my temptations came from TV, from movies. I wouldn't really say music, but TVs, movies, and social media. That I would see something, and once you see something, you can't unsee it. Like, I'm like, oh shoot, and then all of a sudden it's already in your mind. So now you're thinking on it. Now you're trying to get rid of that thought, but it's still there. So you're just like, oh my gosh, get this out of my head, get this out of my head. Anyway, but by then you can't unsee something that you already saw, and then it already starts to mess with you. An accountability partner, oh my gosh, like you need one. Man, you need to find somebody that you trust, that you can tell all your business to, and you know they're not going to judge you. To number 3 now. Number 3 is something that helped me, especially during this time, was to remember the things that God has spoken to me about my life. Remember the things that are in the future that I want to do. I'm no longer thinking about right now, and I'm thinking about my future. How is what I'm doing right now gonna affect my future? I don't have time. The season I'm in, I don't have time to give into another temptation, let alone 3, 4, 5 days of just pushing God away. I don't have time for it. So I have to think about the future. I have to think, man, God told me this. God told me about this in my life. God told me about this. I have to keep pushing forward. I got to keep going forward because this is worth it. That's worth it for me. This is gonna pull me back. I need to go forward. So what helps is to always remember, think about the future before you think about your past. Think about the future before you think about the past. The past is already gone. Let that go. Let that go. The enemy is trying to tempt you with things that's going to be desirable for you, things that you used to desire. Things that like, oh, don't you remember how good this felt? Don't you remember how cool this was? Don't you want to do it again? And it's like, sometimes you got to sit back and just be like, so do I want to do this? And last time I did it, I felt shame and I felt condemned, not by God, because he doesn't condemn us, but I felt condemned, I felt nasty, I felt this. So and that brings me to number 4, another thing is, when you're tempted, remind yourself of the way that you feel after you give into your sinful stuff and your temptation. Remember what happens when you do that. For me, I don't feel nasty, but I feel distant from God. I feel like not myself. Things in my life get neglected because of that. So it's like, I think about the negatives of what happened when I give into my temptation, because it's only going to be negative. It's not going to be positive. It never adds to your life. It subtracts from your life. So it's like, why go there? Right? And then so number 5 for me, when I'm tempted, and this just happened to me the other day. When I'm tempted, I run into my closet. This one morning I got up early and I was getting ready to start praying, and God just had me remove, I have a walk-in closet, and so God had me remove everything out of my closet, and so I clear it all out. And then he said, don't put nothing back in there. And so that's became my prayer closet, my reading the Bible closet, my worship. Everything happens in that closet for me. And so I would suggest get a place like that, a quiet place, whether it's your car, whether it's whatever, that you can just be alone with God. When next time you're tempted, get in your quiet place, like me, my closet, and worship God. Pray, like read your word. Preferably, I say worship or prayer. Reading, like prayer first. Reading your Bible, like, and this is just my personal opinion. This is just what happened for me. Yes, the Bible is powerful and every word is perfect. But maybe that was my issue, was maybe I should have just looked up scriptures about temptation in the Bible and just really sat and meditated on them. But for me, it's difficult because once those temptations, especially if the enemy's coming at you like tough, like hard, like nonstop that day, like, oh my gosh, you can't get a break there, peace of mind. It may not help, or I'll just say this, don't read, like, maybe not read your Bible right first. Don't read it first. You could read it after you worship or pray. But I would say read it, let that, as the 3 things to do when you're tempted, read your Bible, let that be the 3rd thing that you do. You can still do it. So I'm not telling you don't read your Bible. I'm not saying that at all, because the Bible is powerful and it has power to change things. Yes, that's true. But when you're tempted and you go into your closet and you choose to read the Bible that's not related to temptation or anything, say like I'm in Matthew right now, so I'll read something and I'll just be like, boom, 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 boom. But those thoughts will still be there. Those thoughts still come racing in my mind. They keep racing, and then pretty much I can't stop thinking about it and I can't focus on what I'm reading. You see what I'm saying? I won't be able to focus on what I'm reading. That's, like I said, this is just me. This is what helps me. So I may start with worship, or I may start with prayer. And then, do that until your desire changes. Do that until those thoughts clear. And I guarantee you, you're going to walk out of that quiet place and good. Like, that's happened to me several times. But I didn't know this. I think it's also important to, when it comes to temptation, to seek God's wisdom. To seek God's wisdom. It says in, like, I think it's Psalms 13 or 14, Psalm something. And it talks about to truly, it basically talks about to truly know wisdom is to seek God. So if you want wisdom, true wisdom is seeking God. So when you're tempted, I would say seek God for wisdom about temptation. And for me, that's something that I did. Whether that's, like I said last video, where God said, I called out to him and he was like, you're stronger than it. Whether it be that, or whether it be staying here until your desire changes. Because that's what he told me. You're going to have to drag yourself there. You're not going to want to do it. Trust me. I've done it several times where it's like a drag. You just want to stay laying in your bed and keep scrolling. But you're like, it's like you feel it pulling you. Like, you know that you need to go do that. And you're just like, I don't feel like it. But personally, you got to drag yourself there, because that enemy is pulling you one way and your flesh pulling you that way. And the Holy Spirit's pulling you this way. You're like, but it's a choice. Same thing with all temptation. You choose to give in to your temptation. It's a choice. And so just like you choose to give in, you can choose not to. You can choose what you do when you're tempted. And that's my advice to you. There's a story in Matthew, I believe it's about Jesus feeding the 5,000 or 500,000 or 5,000. And so I took that, and as I was reading it, I was like, man, this applies to temptation so well, because these people were sick. They needed healing. They needed all these things, and they were brought to Jesus' feet. He healed them. They stayed with him. You know what I mean? And then they stayed with him, and then they had the opportunity to be fed. And then he sent them away, fed, satisfied, and overflowing. Just kidding. Satisfied. And so I'm telling you, if I could leave you with one message today, apart from all those other ones, when you're tempted, run to the presence of God, run to worship, run to prayer, and just pray. When you spend time, in the presence, Jesus is not going to let you walk away from that encounter with him, in that closet, in your car, in that room that you're in with worship music, wherever you're at, in your garage. Jesus is not going to let you walk away without you being fed and satisfied. So that's why it's important It's important to run to the presence of God and be there long enough. Those people that were healed, they stayed in his presence. They stayed there for a few extra days with Jesus. They didn't leave right away. So you need to make sure that you stay in your closet, in your car, in your garage, in that room, wherever. You stay there until that desire goes away. You stay there until you're satisfied to where you no longer want what the enemy is promising you. Stay there until that desire is gone. And I guarantee you, when you walk out of that closet, or wherever, like I did yesterday, when I walked out of that, the strength that I had that came after that gave me the ability to push past that temptation. Hope that encouraged you, man. Like, I know it encouraged me just talking about it. So
smash that like button. Let's get it.